Hi everyone, it's Mel here. In today's video I'm going to be discussing what it is about eating disorders that really takes over your life. And what I mean is disordered, with eating disorders, I mean disordered eating. So whether or not you are on back-to-back diets, if you call it food addictions, sugar addictions, you're trying to eat healthily and then you're drawn to junk food all the time, or if you're full-blown binge eating. This video is really to highlight or to help you understand how this behavior is not just about food. And one of the things that helped me recover from over 2 decades of back-to-back self-destructive behaviors, including addictions, was knowledge and also being aware how this really impacted every aspect of my life. And many of you who've been suffering from binge eating, especially, I like to talk about binge eating because that was probably the hardest one for me to recover from the most. And when I suffered from back-to-back addictions, like I said, I did everything from smoking, alcohol, drugs, men, work, exercising, buying, cleaning, and that's just to name the few. And I was probably addicted to many other things as well as the eating side of things, but the binge eating was the one that I would say that took over, was more prevalent in my life because I noticed it more, if you will, because it was something that wasn't really socially accepted. Like with the shopping, for example, I would be able to hide that. Really, it didn't really affect me as such. It didn't affect my health. It didn't affect my body. People didn't really notice it, apart from when it came to going out, I would have no money to go out because I'd blown all my money on shopping or stuff, including binge eating. So, and then obviously with alcohol and drugs, they are socially accepted as well, because having worked in the city and everyone was doing the same thing, it was like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Everyone's pissed up, everyone's high, everyone's smoking. So it was socially accepted again to be high and drunk, especially if you worked in the city. Cleaning, I mean, who says it's a problem? In actual fact, when people used to come around my apartment, they would say, wow, Mel, I can't believe how clean your house is. I wish I had your motivation. But little did they know I had a problem. I mean, who bleaches their house 4 times a day and just cleaned after everybody every time they came around? And I used to dread people coming around because of the fact that I didn't want the house to get messed up. I mean, that is pretty messed up in itself. But again, it was socially acceptable to have a nice clean house because people think you're being organized and tidy. Workaholic, for example, that's socially accepted because of the fact that you're a workaholic. That means you're a good team player. You're there, you really want to make the job really well. Your bosses love you because they think that you're a very reliable person and you really love your job. But little did they know it's also an addiction. I was trying to avoid the real problem. So all these addictions you think may be separate from one another, but they're, having experienced it myself and having worked with hundreds of clients with binge eating, I have discovered, and my clients have discovered, that the binge eating is not an isolated thing. So one of the things that happens when you recover is that not only that you recover from obsessions of food, thinking about food. The moment that you wake up in the morning, it's that dreaded feeling, shall I eat something or not? No, I better not, because I binged the night before. I'm going to be really good. I'm going to have like a really healthy breakfast this morning, whether it's like an egg or a shake, a protein shake, or some porridge. Lunchtime is really well. You're eating your salad. You're eating as you should be. You're eating one of your 3 main meals of the day. You're thinking, yeah, great. And then you're like planning, I've got to eat. I've got my snack in between. Make sure I eat enough because I don't want to binge. That constant worry. And then all the time that you are in civilization, somebody tries to sabotage your very structural day. For example, somebody would say, hey, let's go out for lunch, and it's like all panic. I know from my experience, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, as soon as somebody said let's go out for lunch, it's like freaking panic. And internet wasn't really available those times, so I would like literally panic and think, oh my god, have they got safe foods there? Have they got healthy foods there? They better not have chips or cakes or anything like that, because I would be so scared to be tempted. And then while I'm there, not really concentrating, not being present with my loved ones, my friends, because I would be constantly obsessed about the food. So it's that constant stress around food. And then, heaven forbid, I did say yes to go out. We would go out, and literally that was it, game over. I already knew that I would binge. And when I knew I would binge, I would literally just order everything, look like a normal person. Yeah, I'll eat chips, I'll eat like the breaded covered something, or I would be solar opposite and I'd order a salad, make them see that I'm so controlled with my life, so I'd eat the salad. Either way, it doesn't matter, because I've already blown it, because as soon as I leave them, I'm going to carry on, do the shop, and I'm just going to get all my regular binge foods, and I'm just going to go home on my own and binge all on the crap to compensate for my ruined structured day, because somebody had the audacity to ask me out for lunch or dinner, so I may as well ruin the whole day. So that is just a small part of that addiction, the binge eating mentality, the stress all around there. It didn't stop there. It would like be Christmas parties, going out for drinks with your colleagues, going out for meals with your family, going out with friends to the cinema, stressing about like bloody going to the cinema, like, oh my god, my friends are going to have ice cream, what am I going to do? So it's either way. I'm either going to be really good, show them how controlled I am, or I'm going to be really bad. Either way, it doesn't really matter, because behind closed doors I would freaking fuck it up anyway, excuse my language. That's how it would be. But it doesn't end there, because all aspect, when I took like I don't know how you call it, but like a sky view or satellite view of my life, if you delved right into my life, you could see where this disordered eating affected every part of my life. Like I said, I had OCD. I'd clean my house 10 folds. It wasn't even dirty, but I'd be cleaning it all the time. And then my clothes had to be in color coordinated order. I don't know. I don't know if you guys do that. Maybe you have to question yourself about other aspects of your life too. My clothes was in color coordinated order. Everything in my house had to be perfect. Literally had to be perfect. And even my friends and my partners had to be perfect. If they didn't do as what I wanted, if I didn't have what I wanted, let's say for example they organized a restaurant and it didn't have the foods that I wanted there, oh heaven forbid, it would like, it's like no satisfying me. I was not happy, and it would be me forcing myself to enjoy the moment. But really I'm like a like acted like a spoiled brat, because I'm like, they don't have any healthy foods here, you know, what am I going to do? Or we didn't go somewhere. I would like be in a constant hump. I was so grumpy. I had my emotions were going everywhere. Work, I drove myself like to work all the time, working all hours, going to the gym like for hours on end, and it just affected everything. When I looked, like I said, a satellite view on my life when I was suffering with disordered eating, it wasn't just the eating I had a problem with, it was everything. It was literally everything. It affected my relationships. It affected the kind of relationships I was attracting in as well. I mean, it really depends on what kind of childhood or the history of childhood. But if you had some sort of abandonment like I did, I felt abandoned. Now looking back on the relationships that I had, I never really attracted a nice guy because I was not attracted to them. My unconscious programming as a child, as an adult, attracted people who wasn't available. So in amongst all the shit, the shitstorm that I was in, on top of that, I was attracting men that wasn't available, or men that didn't treat me right, because of the root cause. And that is what it is about binge eating. Binge eating is not just about food. It's about what that real problem is that lies underneath, that underpins all the different problems that you might have. Like my story will be different to someone else's binge eating story, but we also really highlighting to you what is your story. Have you noticed any part of your life that has been affected by that origin of that cause that's causing you to binge? Because you may find, if you have a satellite view on your life now, it's not just the eating. Maybe perhaps the way, maybe your relationships. Do you feel triggered all the time? Do you feel like nobody's listening to you? Do you feel like unimportant? Do you feel like a child? Or do you feel like you can't ever get the place clean? Are you overworked? Do you avoid situation? There's so many things that happens as a result of that thing that lies underneath that binge eating. And if that isn't resolved, and you do, you know, if some of us are really lucky to resolve the binge eating by using the traditional therapy like meditation, journaling, mindful thinking, and all these exercises that traditional therapy helps with, which are great if you are the type of person that are quite disciplined to follow those. If you're anything like me, it didn't work for me because I wasn't disciplined, because I was too attached to all these things that were keeping my boat afloat of that self-sabotage. So the traditional therapy is great if you are that kind of person that are good with therapy, but I hazard a guess, if you're still searching for an answer, it's because that hasn't worked for you, and you need to really go down deep to dig up whatever it is that is driving you to binge, and that is responsible for all the other things that are connected or linked to that root cause. And the magical thing is, once you find the problem and you deal with that and you release it, everything changes. And what I mean is everything changes is that all those other things that you notice that is affecting your life now, that will all start collapsing down. You'll stop worrying about the little things. Hi Lee, thank you for watching. You'll stop working hard so much. You just work to the capacity that you're just enough. And if you might even start, transform into thinking, hey, I don't want to be an employee anymore. I want to create my own business. I want to inspire people. For me, especially, as soon as I went through that self transformation, I decided I didn't really want to work in corporate anymore. I didn't want to work in the big bad city anymore. Things changed. Stop shopping, that's for one thing, because when you deal with the root cause, there is no reason why you keep having to look outside yourself to feel good. And that's what it is. This self-destructive behavior, what you perceive as self-destructive, is really searching outside of you to make yourself feel better, because whatever that is inside that has not been healed wants to be healed, wants to be seen, wants to be heard. All the time you're ignoring it by stuffing it with food, stuffing it with more stuff to buy, stuffing it with work and cleaning and stuff, the more it gets stronger. So anyway, I hope this has helped you have a think about how binge eating is affecting your life. And not just the binge eating, all the other aspects of your life. Have a look at what's happening in your life and see if you can relate to anything that I've said. And if you have any questions, let me know. Send me a personal message if you want it to be private, and I'll be glad to give you some insights. And then until next time, keep strong. Bye bye. Thank you for watching. Mwah.